You don't lose men because you're not enough. You lose them because you give too much access, too early, with no resistance. Men don't pull away because they're confused. They pull away because there is no tension left. And if you've ever thought, I'm kind, I'm communicative, I'm emotionally available, why does this keep happening? This is the part no one tells you. Attraction does not grow from effort. It grows from self-restraint. This is the psychology of doing less, not as a trick, not as manipulation, but as a return to your natural value. Most women are taught that love is built through communication, through openness, through explaining feelings, through being understanding. But attraction is not logical. It is energetic. Men don't fall in love because you are always there. They fall in love when your presence feels intentional, not automatic, when access to you is not guaranteed. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The more you overfunction emotionally, the less space there is for a man to step into his masculine role. When you do everything, he does nothing. When you fill every silence, there is nothing left for him to feel. Doing less is not about playing games. It is about stopping the emotional overinvestment that destroys polarity. Let's talk about chasing, because most women misunderstand what it actually is. Chasing is not just texting first. Chasing is emotional behavior. Chasing is explaining your feelings, hoping he will reassure you, staying emotionally open while feeling unsafe, accepting inconsistency, and calling it patience, giving girlfriend energy to a man who has not chosen you, trying to be easy so he won't leave the moment you feel anxious, the moment you start watching your phone, the moment you start adjusting yourself to keep his interest. You are no longer attracting. You are compensating. And compensation is never attractive. Attraction requires space. Chasing collapses space. This is why stillness is so powerful. Stillness is not silence out of fear. Stillness is silence out of self-respect. Stillness says, I am not abandoning myself to keep someone. Psychologically, men process emotions differently than women. Women process emotions through talking. Men process emotions through distance and reflection. This is why conversations don't create attraction. They clarify logistics. They don't build a desire. Desire is built in the absence, in the gap between interactions, in the moment when he wonders, in the space where he feels your absence. When you stop filling the gap, he doesn't forget you. He finally notices the gap, and the gap makes him feel. This is why doing less works, not because it controls him, but because it restores polarity. Now let's talk about the Rule of 3 initiatives. This rule exists to protect your dignity and your nervous system. You initiate twice, warmly, naturally, without strategy or performance. After that, you stop, not to punish him, not to test him, not to manipulate an outcome. You stop because attraction requires reciprocity. If a man is interested, he will step forward when there is space. If he does not, your stillness gives you clarity without humiliation. A woman in her value does not chase clarity. She allows clarity to reveal itself. And here is where most women sabotage attraction. They feel uncertainty, and instead of pulling back, they lean in harder. More messages, more emotional openness, more explaining. But uncertainty is not solved by effort. It is solved by observation. When you pull back, you learn the truth. Let's talk about investment, because this is the core of male bonding. Men do not bond through talking. They bond through doing, through effort, through pursuit, through investment. A man values what he invests in. when you plan the dates, when you maintain the connection, when you carry the emotional weight, you remove his opportunity to invest. And without investment, there is no attachment. This is not cruelty. This is psychology. Men fall in love when they feel themselves moving toward you. When you do less, he does more, or he disappears. Both outcomes are a win, because the goal is not to be chosen. The goal is to be aligned. Now let's talk about texting, because this is where attraction quietly dies. Attraction doesn't collapse in big moments. It collapses in small, anxious behaviors. Instant replies to soothe fear, long paragraphs explaining emotions, questions you're afraid of the answers to. High-value communication is calm, minimal, grounded. It does not seek reassurance. It states standards. Instead of, I feel like you're pulling away. Did I do something wrong? You say, let me know when you'd like to plan something. And then you stop talking. No follow-ups. No emotional essays. No checking his stories. Silence does the work for you. Another example. Instead of, I don't know where this is going, you say, I'm looking for consistency. And you observe. You don't negotiate attraction. You observe behavior. Because words do not build love. Behavior does. Now let's talk about confusion, because this is critical. Confusion is not neutral. Confusion is information. If you feel unsure where you stand, do less, not more. More questions don't bring clarity. More effort doesn't bring security. Distance reveals truth. When you pull back, the right man steps forward. The wrong man fades away. Both outcomes save you time and self-respect. Stillness is a filter. It filters out men who want access without effort. Men who enjoy attention without responsibility. Men who like you, but not enough. And that is exactly the point. Now let's talk about mindset, because technique without mindset will not work. Low-value mindset asks, what can I do to make him choose me? High-value mindset asks, does this feel aligned with my standards? You stop auditioning. You start assessing. You don't convince. You observe. You don't prove your worth. You assume it. This shift alone changes how men experience you, because a woman who is not trying to be chosen becomes magnetic. She is not tense. She is not needy. She is not performing. She is present. And presence is felt. Let's talk about the fear that comes up when you do less. The fear is not that you'll lose him. The fear is that you'll face the truth. Doing less will cost you men. Men who were never going to choose you fully, enjoyed your attention, but not your standards, wanted convenience, not connection, and that loss feels painful until you realize what you gained. Time, clarity, self-respect. The calm woman does not compete. She does not chase potential. She does not negotiate desire. She allows a man to rise or remove himself. This is emotional maturity. This is feminine power. Now let's talk about stillness again, but deeper. Stillness is not doing nothing. Stillness is doing nothing extra. You still live your life. You still express warmth. You still enjoy connection. You just stop over-functioning. You stop carrying what is not yours to carry. You stop trying to manage outcomes. And something interesting happens. Your nervous system calms down. Your energy softens. Your presence deepens. And men feel this. They feel that you are not chasing. They feel that you are not waiting. They feel that you are choosing. This is what creates desire. Not perfection, not beauty, not endless availability, but grounded self-worth. Here is the paradox of attraction. When you do less, you risk losing what was never stable, but you create space for something real. The right man does not need to be convinced. He does not need to be chased. He does not need to be managed. He responds to clarity. He responds to boundaries. He responds to space. And he steps forward because there is room for him to do so. So if you remember one thing, remember this: your value is not proven through effort. It is felt through presence. Stillness is not weakness. It is self-respect. And the right man will always move towards you when you stop moving toward him.